Hello everyone, my name is Relax and Panic, and this is another reaction to... No, it's not. This is not a reaction to Nisemonogatari because we finished it. This is the first reaction to Nisemonogatari, which is the second season. So, well, I thought about it and I decided to go with Nisemonogatari. So just in chronological order, and I hope you like that. Well, you know what to do. As always in the past, as hopefully always in the future, just go down into my description links, follow the link that is in there, remove the circumflex dot parts and replace them with real dots, and enjoy my reaction. Once you've done, come back here and hear out my thoughts about this episode. See you soon. For those that came back, welcome back. Now, wasn't that fun? I mean, I really enjoyed it, no question there. It was good to see the characters again, which we have already learned to love in the first season. So, maybe I missed something, I guess. But I have not really seen, like, new hard plotline yet. Although I think it might be about the main problem of Araragi thinking about, do I tell my family or do I not that I'm a vampire? Or at least partially vampire. So, it started off with Araragi being bound in the house where Oshino Meme lived all the time, handcuffed and everything. I'm not sure how much of a game that was between him and Sengoku, but a lot which happened in the past between them is still going on in the same way. So she kind of likes to torture him. He seems to enjoy it somehow. They are playing very strange and wicked games, and well, if it's their kink, okay. But it is fitting in many ways because him being around with other girls all the time, it makes sense that she would like to bind him to a place, that she would like to make sure he's not going away. So maybe it's a bit of a synonym for that. It is the 29th of July, so it is some days after the last time. And as I learned in this episode, he normally would have had studied with Hanekawa this time, but she had to tell him that she has no time, and they will see each other in 2 days, she promised. Maybe there's something specific, so it would be around Monday, but I guess it is just for school. We had a lot of talking between Sengoku and Araragi again, in the meaning of some comments about different animation series, and like she brought in the fly like a butterfly, sting like a bee, which is, I think, Muhammad Ali, if I'm not wrong. Although she did it wrongly and she used butterfly in both cases. But seeing that the episode and the next one is named about a bee, it would be interesting. Maybe there is a connection already. I'm not completely sure about the timing here, so it seems that his meeting with Hachikuji later on is still before he is bound by Sengoku. So maybe there's something happening and she's protecting him from going out. Because she stated, I am protecting you. A little bit overprotecting, you know, changing diapers and stuff. So the question is, if someone, some things, wants to hurt him, Araragi, or if it is just the fact that he, once again, wants to help somewhere. And in the opinion of Sengoku, he is going too far, is endangering himself. Both options may be valid. So she had him, well, she's enjoying having him bound. So at least a bit, it makes sense. She even mentioned the, when they talked about him eating the rice balls, and he mentioned that she bought no bread. She even brought in, if you don't have bread, eat cake. Which, as we all know, is a very famous quote although no one knows if it was really said, by Marie Antoinette from France. Possibly never really happened, these wordings, but it was fitting in the way of not seeing how poor people were. So that the rich people, the aristocracy in this case, did not understand that the people couldn't afford cake at all. And when they had no bread, it means they were just starving. Whatever. So I like it they bring in some quotes which even I can understand, which is good. She, well, as he even himself mentioned, she's a little bit too extreme, Sengoku. So she's about, I will feed you, I will give you the drink, I will change your diaper. There we go a little bit too far. She's overprotective in many ways, but once again, we don't know what's happening. What's the reason is that he's handcuffed. Because if she's protecting him from the outside world, he possibly wouldn't have to be handcuffed. The question is if something happened to him, that he is a danger to himself. And then we jumped back in time, but not before we watched the intro, which was very late in this episode, but it makes sense. So the intro is again a Sengoku intro, which I like. We could see her staplers flying through the picture all the time. I think it is from her perspective. I wrote a bit down, so about the thing that she feels uneasy even when he's close, which I can understand. We had this already, the fact that he has so many other girls, although he states to love only her. That still doesn't change the problem itself for her. And she asks herself what it is that made him fall in love with her. So, well, those questions we always ask ourselves. What the heck did I do that this other person fell in love with me? Which is mainly out of the problem that we all ourselves see and hear, all of us. So we do not just see what we appear to the outside, what we act like, but we feel our inner doubts, our inner struggles, the dark sides, the dark moments, which we don't speak out openly. So we know inside that we are possibly worse than everyone thinks of us. But then, thus we don't see and hear this from others. That's why we think we are worse than others, which is not true. Everyone has those doubts, has those dark moments, so. But that makes many people question why they are loved. Just accept it. She goes in circles. Yeah, I like the fact that they brought in the stairs from episode 1 in the picture. Very fitting. They brought in a lot of pictures, places from the first season, characters again, sure. So it feels good because you're in the same environment. That's very good. And we had that fight. Yeah, and then we finally met one of the sisters. So that was Karen. Which I haven't seen. No, wrong one. It wasn't Karen, it was a smaller one. And he asked where Karen is. And we could finally have a little bit of the interaction between them. Well, from that, she doesn't seem so bad yet. She was even very nice, you know, in the meaning of that she realized that her big brother is changing, is behaving differently, in a possibly positive way. He becomes more adult, which is due to the relationship with Sengoku and due to the things he just learned in the last weeks from Oshino and from all those abominations. So he is growing up, and she asks him not to grow up too fast and leave them behind, which in a way is a very kind thing to ask. It shows that it's like hey, we are here too, we care about you, and we want to be with you on the same page. So, that was really nice. And then we had this interesting sentence of fighting is a way of communicating as well. Seeing that later on, we have this fight of his with Hachikuji. Yes, it is. It's just a proof, you know, it was very fitting. So he went out And he decided to call Sengoku, who was absolutely into it that he comes by and talks to her and they just hang out, you know? And she was like, she stated she has nowhere else time than now, but that was more on either, I want you to be here exactly now. And you can hear it, and they showed it by this picture of the bush that was moving back and forth, that she was really excited about him coming over. So, yeah, she still has the hots for him, no question there. Interestingly, he really doesn't get it. I mean, he even asked his sister to come along, which for sure Sengoku wouldn't like. And even his sister told him, I will not interfere when it comes about the concept of love to my friends. And he did not catch that one correctly. So if I'm right, he said she didn't say she would love it if I would be over, she just would be happy. So he really like tries to put it away. He even doesn't think about the option that she loves him until his sister points it out again. Then he's like, no, we're just friends. There are multiple things. So the one thing is he's just not interested. The other thing is he is in a relationship and it's pretty new. So you kind of have searching for the word, like borders. You don't see everything around you in a normal way anymore. If you're just in love, if you're just in a good relationship or something like that, you do not realize people hitting on you. You do not realize that this girl, in this case here, is sending you clear signs that she's interested. Because you are just like, I'm so happy. I'm just in a relationship. Everything is fine. And it happens weeks and weeks later that you realize it. And then you're like, what the heck was wrong with me? So, strangely enough. Then he's not training with his bigger, younger sister anymore, because and that's because she's just, you know, she's just grown, she's too strong for me, she's better at karate now and everything. But in the end, the real reason is because he has bigger powers now, being a vampire. So he's worried he might endanger them, he might hurt his sisters, which shows that he's a good guy, you know. But I can completely see his points, which brings us to the problem of telling his family about what happened. And then, well, he leaves the house, and as it happens, he meets Hachikuji. And I completely adore and love this moment of him preparing for attacking her. Because it is this mix-up, you know, him talking that he just has no time for her, he really doesn't like her, he should be going, you know, stuff like always denying. And while he does it, we can see him stretch and prepare to attack. It's just so fitting. It really was nice. I like that scene. That was incredibly good. And, well, he's in full creep mode again. So he's going for the gold again. Getting her up, licking her in her face, touching parts he shouldn't be and stuff like that. It is made comedic. That's why I can deal with it. As some of you know, I'm not always very happy about those situations, but I see the comedic relief in here, and both of them are working with it. Both of them are fine with it because it's strangely enough a way of friendship they have. It's their way of showing an affection for each other as friends. And, well, it works there. And I mean, in the end, she's not really there. She's just a ghost. Which brings me to the interesting question. If anyone would have been around, would he see Araragi jumping and touching nothing? You know, like there's a strange dude who just like is acting with the air? No idea. I guess it would be, right? That would be strange. Maybe it's in one of the future episodes, we will see. So she didn't recognize him first, so she looked a bit like a cat there. But then she came down when she realized it was him. She even asked him, talking fourth wall break, what will we dance in the end credits? So we had a little fourth wall break there. So in many ways, the episode felt a bit lighter than the first season. But I will talk about that later. They talked about love and that you can acquire love for close to 300 yen in a store, wherever. And he opened up to her about his problem of talking to his family about himself being a vampire. So they can see that they really got closer. He is talking about his problems as she was about hers, you know? So I like it. They have a very nice relationship. And it's always fun to have her in an episode. So hope for more of her. She very interestingly taught him the theory of mentioning courage in a sentence, and the sentence will be positive, whatever. And she even proved it. And that was we once again had this play on words, this how talking can change stuff. It was very interesting, and it was true. They just had some examples like, I have the courage to lay around lazily. Because by saying I have the courage to, it sounds as though you are giving up something for it. So you're doing a good thing without thinking about yourself, you know? Which is strange. So they made a bet about it. She won nicely because he had the courage to admit defeat. And then he used it against her later on. Which went, by the way, a little bit too far into creep mode again, but it is okay. Whatever, the one that was interesting to me was, in the end, when she was about to leave, he said, and that was a very sincere moment, a real moment, you know, he asked if she would stay or if she would leave, if she would just vanish. So there you have the moment, the fact that Oshinomeme just disappeared, although we know it is the way he does it now. He is not a fan of saying goodbyes, but that really stuck on Araragi, and he was insecure about that. So he's worried about losing friends, about losing people. So there was a sincere moment. I liked it. She stated she will not leave. And if she does, she will tell him before she will say goodbye. So good one. But there's a little mystery coming along the way, and that is she's not sure why she's still there. It seems there is a reason, and it seems at least partially it's him. So I guess we may learn more about this. We know she was promoted from a spirit that is stuck on this place, finding the house of her parents. And she's now a wandering spirit, but she's still in the area. She's not really wandering far. She's always, well, close to him, it seems. So that is something interesting to come. By seeing that we started off with the abduction of him, I guess next episode will be about what he does next before the abduction starts. If he will go to Sengoku or not, if he will reach the place, how he got abducted. It seems he wasn't aware it was Sengoku. So when he woke up in the house, he became aware it was her. So we are still filling this time with content, filling what's going on. And I hope we will learn why she chose to abduct him. I guess she has a very good reason. Then we had the outro, which was, in my opinion, pretty sad. That was really nearly a depressing outro. I'm not sure who's singing it. If it would be Sengoku, then she's still very, very insecure about him and about everything that's going on, which, well, I hope she will grow out of. I would really like this relationship to be a stable one and not too much fuss about it, you know. It's just not necessary. There's enough other stuff happening. So that's what I wait for the next episode. What's leading to the abduction? Background informations, please. In general, compared to season 1, I think the graphics improved a bit. I like it. It feels to me as though the speed and the massive amount of information lowered a little bit. Not by far, but a little bit. So the content itself, so the jokes on words, which they did in season 1, they lowered a bit as well, and it's more Western, if you know what I mean. So there are still jokes on words and multiple meanings, but it seems to me as though they adapted a little bit towards that there might be a Western audience as well. So for me, it felt a bit easier to follow along. Although I still didn't catch everything, but it was a bit better. So that was good for me, I liked it. We had a lot of visual clues. They still put in those interesting scenes, mixing between close-ups with high definition graphics, to say so. So showing the faces very clearly, and then drawing out, and you just have like a shadow image of the characters talking behind a wall, which is art for me, kind of, you know, which I still like. It's and it's a clever way of still making sure you don't have to put in too much money all over it by just mixing it up a bit. The music is still very good, so you have intro and outro which are nice to listen to and have something to say about the story, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I'm still confused about the beginning, so they start off more neither like they did with the first season. So starting off with total confusion why Sengoku is doing the stuff she does, but that's the way they play. And then you realize there's something in it why she does it, there's something real in it, but we don't know. But additionally, they put on the layer of her having fun with her boyfriend. So this mix-ups of talks of luring Araragi into specific situations and of keeping informations from us is still in there, and it's okay because that's what the series was about before. So I liked it. In my opinion, they started off very good because we have Sengoku in the first scene, which is fitting. It's the main piece, kind of, those two, Araragi and Sengoku. They brought in one new character, which is one of the sisters, and mentioned another one, the other sister. They already mentioned like monitor all of the girls we had in season 1, and they brought in the possibly most positive, funny, and entertaining character from season 1, which is Hachikuji. So that's a good start, you know, to start it lightly. And that's why I like it. So it's a very good start to the season. Up for more. So I hope you liked that one. I did for sure. And I will see you the next time. Until then, please feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. Until the next time then, my name is Relax and Panic. Goodbye and out.